You're listening to The Business Focused Photographer. If you're ready to transform your photography business into a thriving career, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll discuss fun and innovative ways to boost your creativity and income. Sound good? Let's go.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am here with a new friend who I'm very excited about because I really admire her work. Her name is Melina Coogan. She is the owner of Melina Coogan Photography. Melina is a documentary style family photographer who is based in Asheville, North Carolina. And today we're just going to be talking about everything that goes into running such a niche business, which is documentary family photography. So welcome, Melina.
Thank you. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm so excited to talk and pick your brain and learn. But any little background tidbits and information you want to share with the audience before we get into this conversation?
Maybe, maybe just that I didn't go to school for photography. I didn't study it in any formal way. I studied creative writing at the University of Washington, and my whole life had just been kind of told since I was kindergarten. I think when I was in kindergarten, I wrote like a really good book for kindergarten standards, and everyone was like, you need to be a writer. And then for the rest of my life, I thought I had to be a writer. And when I switched to photography and actually saw what it was like to be happy and successful, but that background, I'm bringing it up because like everything that I learned in creative writing school for 5 years just completely passes over to photography.
Yeah.
And so even though I don't have a formal background in it, I feel like I have like a background coming from sort of more of a diagonal.
But it's absolutely adjacent. My background, like what I went to college for, is teaching English to speakers of other languages and
Cool.
Spanish language and literature, which does not contribute anything to what I do now. But I would always fill spots in my schedule with painting and ceramics and art. I would sequence out of things in high school, like sciences that I couldn't pass with art classes. So I love, but you probably like me just didn't think that art, any form of art, was really a career path, especially like our generation was not really told that.
Yeah, well, I was encouraged. I was actually encouraged to be a writer, and there was no other conversation about what I might want to do. So it was kind of the opposite. Like I was encouraged to do that. And I never had the like conversation of the plan B. Well, what if that doesn't work out, which I think is kind of a leap my parents took to just be like, yep, she wants to be a writer. Let's do that. After like many painful years of that, though, I think they were very supportive and happy when I rolled into photography.
Yeah. Who knew, right?
Yeah.
It really wasn't something that I expected to be so great, profitable, and yeah.
It still is within my brain, though. It's still one of the blocks that I deal with all the time. This idea that like, oh wait, can I actually make a living? I can make money with photography, but like a living? And then grappling with like, well, if I think I can, I can. And so there's a lot of unraveling to do there. Yeah.
Yes. I love, well, okay. So before we started recording, you shared that you are a Vermonter while you live in North Carolina. Carolina. But you are from Vermont. And now I'm kind of like piecing together and just totally projecting my own stereotype of like what Vermont parents would be like. I'm thinking like maybe there's like a little Bernie Sanders sprinkled in there, and like there's like hippie-ish, like be a writer, you grow up, be creative. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, my parents are both scientists, social scientists, and scientists. So they're
Cool.
in academia and stuff. So I think they're a little less like free to be than a lot of Vermont parents. But but yeah, still. And my sister, my poor parents. My sister is a singer-songwriter. So
Cool.
yeah. Somehow they got these two like very right-minded, or I don't know, left or right when you're like all into the numbers.
And part of whatever that brain strength is also means that you can never remember which one is the hemisphere.
Exactly.
So
one of those.
Yes, the creative side.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. How cool, interesting. And how, I mean, just out of curiosity, how's your sister doing with that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. She actually moved to the Netherlands because her style of music, ironically, it's Americana, but it was really big over in Europe. So she did much better over there. She's 5 years older than me, so she's like 36. Sorry, 46. Um,
You're
and she
41.
41 on Saturday. Yeah.
Wow. I figured you were like 10 years younger than me, and I'm 40. So that's
Thank
very,
you.
wow. Well, and happy birthday.
Thank
Oh,
you.
okay. So she kind of struck a chord in the Netherlands.
She did, but then she I don't know if giving up is the right word. She moved on, and she's just finished physical therapy school. So she admitted it wasn't the thing. It wasn't working out, basically, not to the level that she wanted it to work
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And that's another block for me. I mean, just to get right into it, is having my sister try her best and struggle in the arts and not really make it.
Yeah.
There's like guilt that I am, to an extent, to the extent that I am, you know?
Yeah. 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 I understand it. That's like a big mindset thing. And there's a whole lot of, that's a very complicated thing. And is it necessarily true that it didn't work out, or that she is moving on to, because they always say like your life is career-wise is there's only like 3 acts.
Yeah.
And it's very normal to have like these just different phases of because, like to spend an entire lifetime or an adult lifetime doing the same career seems kind of boring.
Pretty
and
old
hellish.
fashioned these days. Yeah.
It is. So like, I think it's cool that she spent time doing that, and it
me
brought her
too.
to a really cool country that she gets to live in now. And I'm a little jealous. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Trust me.
My mom's a physical therapist. It's a great, great career.
Cool.
And
yeah.
Cool. Well, I think I'm going to like talking to you, Melina. This is a good conversation already. So tell me about so writing wasn't working well for you, or it just felt like there was a lot of friction there, I would imagine. It probably took a lot more work to get the ball rolling as a writer.
Yeah. Well, I've been a blogger, believe it or not, and that sounds like a bad word. It's so funny, blogger.
No,
it's
a writer. It's editorial writing.
It was great. I blogged for 10 years. And that's actually where I started realizing how much photography added. People, I think at the end, were just more interested in the photos than the writing. But then there was a lot of friction, but it was like, I have never been so thoroughly chewed up and spit out by the universe that last year I was not supposed to be writing anymore. Like the blogging had ended because it switched to Instagram, and then everybody was influencers, and I would rather die. And I don't think I could influence anyone. So I was writing for like outdoor magazines and such. But the last year, like all these different projects sort of didn't work out, but in really unexpected and humiliating ways. Like random stuff I won't get into just because we don't have the time. But it was so obvious that the universe was like, we're done. There is something better for you. You got to stop this. And I look back and I'm like, thank you to those magazines that sort of like abused me in that way, because I needed to do something else. And I'm so much happier and so much better at photography.
Yeah. Well, I'm jealous that you have like the copywriting skill set, because that is enormous.
Yeah, don't be though, because it's all getting replaced.
What?
By AI.
AI writing sucks.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. And
it's the worst.
I can't, if somebody posts it, they're gone.
I can't immediately like no more trust.
Yeah, exactly. No more trust. Oh,
yeah. I'm like, it's got a long way to go. And I hope that it's like chokehold on everything right now is going to make people kind of like push back on it. And
really hope
people have already been, and I think this is like the pendulum swinging sort of pattern that we're just going to see in society always, is like, we got digital photography and it got so good and it got so easy, it got so perfect that people are like, this is too easy. Let's go back to film. Let's go back to, I have a vinyl collection too. Like, let's go back to vinyl, because it's like, I think that a lot of people who have the luxury of really thinking about it and meditating on it realize that the beauty is almost always in the process. And when everything is expedited and made more efficient just for what? It's like, not to go on a total tangent, but it's all for capitalism. It's all for productivity. It's all for what? Like what? Like this part, this is the human part. So
Right.
what's the race to get to?
Right. What are we're saving all this time. What are we going to do with that time?
It's like,
Like,
this is the time,
right.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, who knows if I will just start using AI for writing things. I will say, I will admit that my blogs that I generate for each podcast episode are generated with AI. I do that. And it's just for the SEO piece because
That I have like a secret blog where I put photos and really, really bad writing. Just, the first thing that comes out of my head. And it's just for the link backs and the SEO. And
yes,
it's
yeah,
not,
yeah,
I don't even want anyone to like find this.
yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
It totally has its purposes. It has its purposes.
Yeah, yeah. I
right.
want Google to read it and nobody else.
Exactly.
But I will not hand that over, like my copy on social media, my website copy, that in my email, that is going to be me with the
Yeah.
typos and the errors and everything like that. It's just got to be me. It's like, because like we said, it's just distrustful to generate that,
And it all looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It just says the same thing. Like
It does.
you might as well just not write. Just don't put it in.
Agree. Yeah. And this is not so much of a tangent because I think that this is analogous to documentary style photography. It's kind of like this withdrawal from the perfection. And I love your portfolio. I love your work. And I kind of think that that's what your work at least communicates to me a lot, is that you are just withdrawing from the performative family photography that is for the gram, that's for Pinterest, and overly processed and overly curated. And I just love that rawness about your work and documentary family photography in general. So tell me about what drew you to this genre once you decided to give photography a try.
Yeah. I think I started doing family sessions, and I think I did 2 or 3 before I just knew that posing, it's a skill set that I certainly didn't have, at least right to begin with, So I figured out right away that I was going to take it in a little bit of a different direction. I just didn't know exactly what that would be. And that's sort of in my past always. I usually take whatever I'm doing and take it in a little different direction. Like, I really like to stand out, and I think I don't know, that's anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to stand out. There's more,
Sure.
I guess I could say, but yeah, so I think after, maybe it was like, I think my daughter was 1 or 18 months at the time. So, and I started doing family sessions when I was pregnant with her. So when she was 18 months, I was scrolling Instagram and I came across Kirsten Bethman's page. Have you ever heard of her?
Oh, she used to be Kirsten Lewis.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Okay. I was going to say, wow, another Kirsten. Yes,
Yeah.
I had dinner with her once, actually.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Yeah.
She's like this bold, powerful,
Yes.
like change maker. She was one of the first, if not the first. I think she might have coined the term documentary family photography. Don't quote me on that. But she was definitely a pioneer. And so I just remember being drawn into one of her photos. It was like her personal photos because she travels, at least she used to, all over the world, and she had a baby at the time. So it was actually a post about her being criticized for taking her baby everywhere. So I was kind of like, ooh, like interested in what people are saying about this. And that is just that scroll. I mean, I hate to say it, but it changed my whole life. I don't want to encourage anyone to spend more time scrolling, but and then I found her Creative Live. I was already on Creative Live, so I found she had 3 courses on DFP, documentary family photography on Creative Live. So I took them all, and that is what introduced me to the DFP community, which is actually a community called the DFP community. and the different Made for Documentary, which just ended, but it was like this great organization and hub for documentary or DFP photographers. And so I just was like, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be, at the time, now this has changed, I want to be completely unposed. I want to be a photojournalist in the home. So if I walk in and there's all these crazy lights on that make everybody look orange, I don't turn them off, right?
Right.
Nothing, no suggestions. I don't do that anymore, but I kind of like was a purist by training. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just, you got to like learn the rules
Yeah.
before you break them.
Yeah.
So then I started posing this idea that, I think what I started doing, my ultimate goal was to do full day in the life sessions around the world, or at least around the country, just like Kirsten did. And so what I started doing is all of my friends in Asheville, I was so lucky to start this career when I was pregnant, because everybody around me was like having babies. So everybody's in the perfect age for wanting some photos at least. So I offered this thing called the cozy hour, which was the hour between dinner and bed, because I knew that and I would do them for free. So I'm just going to come in, I'll just be there for an hour. Don't want to overwhelm you, and just pretend I'm not there, and just do your thing. And it was a really good choice to do that hour because there's already routine built in, like bath time and jammies and all that stuff. And also it would be really tricky light, because obviously it's at night, so there's no natural light. And I thought that would be really good for me, and like going in and out of bathrooms with like the halogen lights and stuff. So I started, after a few of those, I think I did 5 for free, and I was like, okay, I can start offering this. And then pretty quickly, actually very quickly after, I started booking day in the life sessions around the country. And a lot of that was blog readers from the last 10 years who
Wow.
Yeah, who had like I don't even want to say parasocial relationship with me, because a lot of them were actual friends. Like we met and we wrote letters and we did all sorts of, the blog was like very interactive like that. So I went out to Seattle where I'd gone to college, and was able to do a bunch of day in the life sessions. And then, at the beginning, I mostly just asked for plane fare, and I did them for free. And I finally had a bunch on my schedule, actual paid day in the life photo sessions. I remember one was for a National Geographic photographer in DC. And I was just like, oh, this is it. This is going to be it for me. Like, I'm going to get networked. I don't know what's going to happen. But that was in March 2021. So then I got pandemicked, and all of those photo sessions, I had like 7 day in the life, obviously are all canceled.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it was a total, I had no idea being a grown-up would meant pivoting. Things change, you adapt. Things change, you adapt.
Well, most grown-ups, most part of becoming a grown-up doesn't include living through a pandemic, like a global pandemic.
Yeah, well, there was pandemic, but then we also had Hurricane Helene here in Asheville, which wiped out an entire season, if not a lot more. Well, wiped out the whole town. And so that was another thing to like pivot and live through. So anyway, so I've had to rebuild a few times for sure, but.
Wow. So each of those times that you've had to rebuild, has it really felt like starting from scratch, or has it gotten a little easier?
I wouldn't say starting from scratch. Another thing that changed is during the pandemic, I had my second daughter. And honestly, life was so good with my first, with just Olive, and she would come with me on, like, not the day in life, but she would go with me to the cities that I was shooting in. And it was so great. We were actually like, let's just have one and just keep this up. And but then during the pandemic, with no end in sight, I was like, I may as well have another.
Better repopulate the earth.
Yeah, I got to repopulate the earth, I suppose.
What else is there to do, right?
Got to do my part. Yeah. So then traveling, obviously, I don't actually prefer traveling for sessions right now, because it's just really hard to arrange childcare, and, I miss the kids and stuff.
Yeah. So your kids must be, what about like 6, 7, and 5-ish?
Ivy just turned 5 and Olive's 8.
Cute names.
Yeah.
Good name. Good ages too. I loved that. I love the ages my kids are now, but those.
How old are your kids?
My kids are almost 10 and 11, so
Cool.
very close in age.
Yeah.
But I didn't have babies during the pandemic, which I commend you for, because that seemed like
way easier than having older kids. I didn't have to do Zoom kindergarten. Thank God.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. And both of my kids got like speech and some other services, and that was a shit show.
That sounds really, really hard.
Like virtually, but we have a nice piece of property, which I think saved us.
Oh,
And that we all like each other. We don't have a dysfunctional home, because I thought a lot about people in apartments and people with dysfunctional family dynamics. And I thought that must really suck to be.
my God. Oh, yeah. I would say I can't say I'm scot-free because my uncle died of COVID like right away.
Oh, God.
But just as from a personal experience, my husband is a teacher and they never shut down. So he went to work every day.
What?
Or else we would not be together. Just
North Carolina. Damn.
Yeah, well, it was a private outdoor school.
Cool.
Yeah, it turned out fine. I mean, yeah. And then my daughter went to an outdoor preschool, so they kept going too.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Cool.
it could have been a lot worse for me.
Yeah, my husband is a teacher too, but I'm in New York. We did shut down, and I loved it because we were all home together. But he got paid, and
Oh, that's great.
I got unemployment.
Oh yeah, I remember the unemployments at that point. That was the most money I'd ever made, and I was like,
It was just so nice for once. It was, listen, like I will not sidebar, but this is whatever. When I left because I used to be a teacher, like 15 years ago. And when I left that job and we moved here, it was the end of a contract. So I was able to collect unemployment while I found a new job. And I was making good money as a teacher, but I think my unemployment was like, I don't know, it was half of what I got during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, it wasn't as much as I could have been making, but it was like regular and I didn't have to do anything. So it just felt like,
that's nice.
yeah, it felt great until I had to pay the taxes for it later, which is not as fun. But anyway, yeah, the pandemic it's going to be studied, and it was a really crazy thing to live through. And it obviously changed the entire world, probably mostly for the worse.
Yeah,
minus
definitely.
like we all have accepted that joggers are totally acceptable to wear in public, and we can work from home more than but that's about all we've
I
got.
think it's become even a little bit more accepted to have kids, like, if your kid pops in the video, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you know what, we're sick of pretending that we work without kids, and then with kids we don't have a job, like forget it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, so that's pretty neat. Did you study under Kirsten? Or
Yeah,
anything like
she
that?
I think I hired her as a mentor at portfolio review a couple times. She does a lot, or at least she did a lot of live like last minute live stuff on Instagram. And so I would always try to join that and like have my images be part of that. And then I actually signed up for there's a year-long DFP class called No More Effing Around. So that's like a year-long membership, and Kirsten was one of the 3 teachers. So
Yeah.
I had that year with her.
It's fascinating. One of my associates was learning with her, and Kirsten ended up coming to her house and staying at her house, and I think did like a day in a life sort of thing. And she was like to me and a couple of other local photographers, like, hey, she was Kirsten Lewis at the time. She's like, hey, Kirsten Lewis is going to be at my house. Do you guys want to go out to dinner with her? Like, yeah. So it was like,
Hell yeah.
like little, yeah. So it was cool to talk to her and pick her brain and everything.
She's
So
a force.
talented.
Yeah, she's a force for sure.
She is enough, because how else could you have achieved that success that she has without being a force? Like,
Exactly.
yeah. So I believe when I spoke to her, she practiced like an IPS sales model. Is that, from what I got from your website, you are not an IPS photographer, or am I mistaken?
Well, considering I don't know what IPS means.
So in-person sales. So
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
actually, this is you're catching me. This is a very interesting time to do this particular podcast with me, because I am switching at the end of this month to in-person sales, IPS.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
cool.
I actually have a mentor right now who is specific. Our mentorship, the only thing we talk about is how to transition to selling products and why. So I will be doing, again, at the end of this month, so just like 2 weeks, we do the session, and then when the digital gallery is complete, I go to your house, show it to you, and then we decide that evening what you want printed, what you want in the photo books, and then that's it. There's no more access to the gallery. There's no thinking and coming back to it. Yeah. And obviously, I've been doing this for 9 years, so it took me 9 years to figure out why and how to get to that place. So yeah, there's a lot. I don't know where to begin there because there's just so much to be said about it.
Well, what did, because that's it, that's a big change. It's going to incur a whole other level of education for clients and yourself. And so
Yeah.
what made you decide to make this pivot?
It just was starting to feel not right. Like I wasn't finishing the job for my clients. So I would go and, I do sessions either 90 minutes all the way up to full day in the life. So I was handing over, or I would just email people a link to the gallery, and there'd, let's say, anywhere between 50 to 200, 250 images. And you could just download them full resolution. You could do whatever you want. People didn't understand how much I was giving them, because it didn't seem that much. It seemed like a link, and then if they could print the photos if they wanted to, But for a while, I was like, that's just the easiest thing to do. And for a while, I thought, well, if I edit the photos, I might as well give it to them, And then I would go, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with photography. There's like 3 things on this earth that I'm obsessed with, and one of them is photography. And so the amount of effort and care I was putting into the session and then to the editing, like days and days, as we all know, or weeks and weeks for the editing. And then I would hand over the gallery, and I would sometimes get a response that people liked it, and a lot of times wouldn't hear anything.
Right.
Which is like, okay, that was a lot of work. So much work.
Well, like you said, like you are one to stand out. You probably want the accolades, and you probably want a little.
God, yeah.
Yeah. When's your birthday? When's your birthday? I just gotta ask.
March 14th.
Oh, that's right. You said was that
Yeah.
make your Pisces? Pisces.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I wanted the photos to mean as much to my clients as they did to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would, you go on PicTime and you see the stats, and you'd be like, this gallery has been viewed twice. It's like,
Yeah.
So it was starting just to feel cheap on both sides, like for my client and also to me. It felt like sort of a cheap experience. And then I'd think, well, I'm a photographer and I believe in photos, but I haven't even printed a photo book for my own wedding, because it's one of those mental load, decision fatigue. I'll deal with it later. There's too many options. And if I'm treating my own photos like that, then how do I expect somebody who's not obsessed with photography and not a photographer to do that? And then the other thing, another thing is there is a huge seismic shift in how people are viewing photography, just in general. Photography, like posting people's pictures online, posting people's kids' pictures online. People are really starting to want to avoid that, move away from that.
Yep.
And I in my head, like, I get it. I also, I don't know. I feel a lot of friction about that. While I understand it, it's also so important that photographers can share their work. Like, if you hired me, it's because you saw a whole bunch of families who let me use them, or let me use their photos to share. And now you want to sort of get the photos and get the experience and not let me share that for other people to see. It's kind of, but then at the same time, with everything going on in this world, it's like, okay, well, I also completely get it. And I would never try to talk a family out of it.
Right.
I might push back a little and say, well, what if we share faceless? What if it just, so you understand where I'm coming from with my desire to post these, but anyway, I was just realizing between how it felt to have all these images just sort of die in a cloud somewhere, and then people just sort of turning against wanting anything online, be like, fine, we're not going to do any digital files.
So are you curating packages that don't include digitals?
They're going to get the digitals as a present if they purchase the prints.
Got it.
So any prints that they get, they can have digital full resolution. And if you make a photo book with me, that is what I'm all about. Like, I'm a storytelling photographer. I think the images, there should be a few standouts to go on the wall for sure, but most of them exist together, like in collaboration
Yes.
in a photo book. So any photos that you choose to be in that book, then you can get the digitals from that. And then I'm still toying with what I call social media files, like the low resolution files.
Yeah.
How to deal with that. But I'm still working that out.
There is like a seismic shift on the client end. When I started 12 years ago, I think I had one or two clients who wanted their photos kept offline. No big deal. Now it's at least half. It is at least half. And I like you, I can't blame anybody. Everything has changed. Social media has changed. Apparently everybody's a pedophile and
That's what we're learning.
Yeah, like children. So I went to my own social media, my Facebook page recently, because I have so many feelings about how Facebook has influenced society.
It's not good.
And I'm just like so sick of it. One of my photographer friends mentioned that she only uses her personal Facebook as the local photographer now. So she's not like posting pictures of her kid's soccer game and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really sick of, I'm sick of it too. I'm sick of the, like I said before, like the performative photos. Like, here's what I ate for dinner. Here's what we did this weekend. Here's where we went on vacation. Here's what I got for Valentine's Day. It's just, I think it's too much. I think it's unhealthy, at least for me. So I went in and took everything down that wasn't my single ambiguous profile picture. I am trying to untag all the photos that people have posted of my children that I'm tagged in. And I'm just like, I'm recoiling myself. So I can certainly empathize with my clients. And in fact, this year, I've created a price incentive for people who are willing to share, because I too don't want to pressure anybody, but I also want to say, like, if you do share, you're going to get, a couple bucks off of your session if you're willing to sign this model release. And I just think that it's not so much that it's going to behoove somebody to now put their kids somewhere where they really don't want them, but anybody who was on the fence and didn't really care either way, but might have said, yeah, keep them private, will not be like, no, sure, share them.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I've definitely toyed with that myself. I'll probably head that way.
Yeah. So I love that this was like the realization that you had and you're moving in that direction. I know that the income, earning potential grows a lot with
like 10
in-person.
times.
It is. And so how right now it's pretty easy to communicate like what is included, your packages, the scope of everything like that. How do you feel like, and I'm sure this is being taught in your mentorship, like how do you feel like you're going to talk about this shift? And because it has gotten less popular, the sales model, where many clients are not familiar with this. How do you think that's going to be communicated?
Honestly, I think that I will lose a lot of clients and gain a lot of new clients. That's one thing my mentor told me. She was like, you can absolutely make this much per session. You can make this much per year. I can't promise that you're going to keep all your clients who are used to getting all of the images. But I just thought I can't go on with the $750 sessions and then you edit it and then you put it out there and then it's your next session the next day. And I was just I felt like I was stuck in an eddy. Like, I know I can make, right. That wasn't giving me like a living wage. I know I can make a living wage.
Yeah.
I just need the time to figure it out. And, at $750 a shoot, you're going to be pretty popular because that's a pretty good price.
It's a great price.
Yeah. And so I kept not getting a break. So I had to carve out, okay, during this slow season, I'm not shooting, which is scary for me, scary for anyone who's self-employed. You think, I'll just grab that and grab that.
Yeah.
But I've been doing that for 9 years. So anyway, what I'm learning right now is, in fact, I was just doing a write-up about this right before I got on this call, is how to communicate right from the very beginning that this photo session that you're purchasing, it includes the photo or our consult beforehand, the photo session, and then I will come to your house and show you the images, and you will buy image per image. So they need to know from the very beginning that they're not going to get digital files, with the exception of if they buy the print, Yeah, I think I'm saying a lot because it makes me a little nervous. Honestly, I really hate
Yeah.
pushy, I really hate pushy sales. I hate it. I feel really gross when people try to do it to me. I have like people pleasing stuff, so I always like let it go further than I should. But in talking to my mentor, it's like my reasons for switching over are really legitimate. Like, I think especially every mom understands the gift of not just handing you 200 photos and you love them all, or you love most of them, you don't know what to do with them, and you'll get to it eventually, but you kind of know you never will get to them eventually. And then they're out of your mind. And then the photo is not fulfilling the promise to be this thing that ages with you, like ages in that it gets better and better with time,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because no one's like, I feel nostalgic. I'm going to pour some wine and like put on some jazz and open up my link to a digital gallery and scroll through, Like you want to be holding on to a photo book,
Yeah, I think that it makes all the sense in the world for somebody who is creating such an heirloom. You're not shooting mini sessions. You're not doing something that's, some sort of novelty. This is
Yeah.
this is for legacy. This is for posterity. This is for people to really reflect on what they built and how it has evolved. And I think that it's really important. I totally, I would love to revisit this conversation in I don't know, a year and just
Yeah, me too.
see how that's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you know what? You're no stranger to more client communication and explanation than usual because you are doing something so unique and outside of the box. So talk a little bit about what that has looked like for you over the years as you've built your business and built your client base, about how you've figured out how to communicate what you're going to do, how to smash expectations and pretenses that somebody's going to have about what a family photographer, especially for the people in the family who haven't hired you. So maybe like dad, who really this wasn't his idea.
No, we're just doing this for mom.
Yeah, so
Right,
he's
a lot of
probably
those
the one
dads.
you have to tell, oh no, you don't have to look at the camera like that. So talk a little bit about the client education piece for the photography itself.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of my clients off of Instagram. And on Instagram, I am a chatty Cathy. And I used to be a lot more when I was just getting into this. So I would talk constantly, I would do stories, I would do lives, I would do posts, I would do whatever, the long captions, all about why I was such a fan of documentary family photography. And I did a Pacha, which is kind of like a TED Talk about,
Cool.
yeah, about truly, it's cliche to say, but the life-changing power, why I believe with all my heart, and I'm a lived example of this, of how this kind of photography can make you just fall in love with your own life and have just acceptance of where you are, acceptance of emotions, good day, bad day, whatever. It can all be textured, it can all be interesting, it's all for a purpose. It's lightened my life a little bit, or actually a lot. So these people were learning about that through Instagram and then finding me and saying, I don't want to do posed. I think I want what you're looking for. I think I want raw and unposed. I don't know how that's going to look. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I actually do at this point. Anyone who looks at my social medias, or I'm sorry, my Instagram is really all I use. Anyone who looks through that will understand what kind of photographer I am. Now, that's harder to do at the beginning when you're not cranking out thousands of these DFP shots per day or per week, And I would advise you to be very selective, to only post the type of images that you want to make, even if it's the only image from a 2-hour session that was in a field post. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's a skill set, and I don't think I have that skill set. And I could learn it, but there's so many other things I want to learn beforehand.
I feel like it's really I'm not great. I have like one foot in lifestyle photography and another foot in way less posed, much more observational. I wouldn't call it documentary, but like observational photography where it's kind of like, I'm kind of waiting. How about we do something? And then like art will happen when you're doing
Yeah,
things,
I
you
really
know?
like that term,
Yeah.
observational. I haven't heard
Yeah.
that before. I think that is a lot. I wouldn't call myself I, I still go with documentary family photographer because I think that genre has sort of loosened up and expanded a little bit to fit
Absolutely.
some stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I am not a purist at all. I will do
Right.
whatever it takes to make a better photo. So I'll mess with the lights. I'll suggest stuff. Sometimes I'll just be like, you get here in this light now, you
Yeah.
know?
I appreciate it all. And I recognize the prescriptive like version of it where it's like you don't even touch that little blind that's
Yeah.
crooked or like you don't turn. And for me, it's like, this is also my art and light
Yeah.
is so important to me. And I don't want mixed lighting. I don't want that overhead and the mix and the crisp, I'd rather have grain or, than that. So, yeah, so you said that you started off that way, like super purist, and then
Yeah.
you just figured out what it actually realistically looks like for you and how you want your photos to look.
Yeah. Um, so you learn especially in DFP that, it's a combination, every good image is a combination of light, composition, and moment. But what I started noticing was there is a fourth that nobody was talking about. And a lot of the photos that I saw being shown as like examples of great DFP shots were missing. And that was the fourth element, which I think is atmosphere and vibe. And so a lot of my images, I wouldn't say there's actually a specific dramatic moment, like going on. It's more about the mood, feeling, vibe, atmosphere of the photo and that's dictated a lot by the light and by the interior design,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I started doing was really editing my photos the way that a lot of DFP photographers don't edit. They maybe do like a little bit of toning where they put it to black and white, but they're not split toning and they're not just, messing around. And I started using the preset that I had sort of made for myself for these outdoor photos to look a lot more artistic. I started using that during my DFP interior shots. And
Yeah.
so they're edited to look a lot, I don't even know the word. I just think it adds like an interesting depth to the images to take a more creative editing approach to some could say less, well, I don't want to say less creative DFP, but
There's
less
normally less
managed.
human touch. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're bringing more human touch in post.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which I can make amends with that. I love split toning. I love juxtaposing.
I love messing with my
opposing colors.
blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. Me too.
Yeah.
Blues mean a lot, and yeah, same. So that's pretty. That's interesting. It's very insightful. And so your clients are finding you. Your portfolio is so curated that nobody has any questions about what you do. But are you? Oh, well, they probably don't understand the
most part.
process. They know what they're going to get, more or
Yeah.
less, but the process itself might still be a big question mark for them. Do they come in understanding that maybe a half day or a full day is the right choice for their family, or does that take further education?
I think I'd say 90% of the full day in the life sessions I've done are for other photographers.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. That is the
It
answer
is,
for.
and it's too bad. Yeah, it's too bad because I want other people to understand just how easy it is. It's really not that big a deal. It's fun. It's easy. The only difference between like a day and then a day with me taking photos is you'll probably look at your phone less when you're with me, just because people are aware if they don't want those photos. And that's just like a marvelous little upshot,
Totally.
But those are hard to sell. Like, I'll just be honest. It's hard to,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, people just think, or, people's reaction, like, oh my, a full day? Ah, it's like, well, you ever had a visitor? You ever had like your friend visit for a day? And yeah, you have a visitor, but that's fun. That's fine. It's
Yeah.
just like that. It really is.
Yeah.
And there's so many benefits to that many like hours. People will say like, I want, sorry, I get a little, I could do a much better job of communicating with people. And now that I'm switching to this in-person sales, that's going to be a huge part of it. That's why I'm like carefully crafting behind the scenes so everything is ready to go when I launch this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because basically I will make the mistake. It's been like a decade of this, of me making this mistake of assuming my clients have read everything I've ever put out there and looked at all my photos and really done a thorough research and decided to, become like a scholar in DFP photography and decided it's the right thing for them and exactly what they want. And why do I think, then I'll show up at their house and it's usually, I will say, sorry to gender this, but it's always the dads who are telling their kid to smile.
Yes.
Or
No, it is, but it is.
I had one go, show your teeth. And I just had to be like, step away, sir.
Right.
Like, she doesn't, shouldn't have to smile. I actually like it best when they don't smile. She doesn't have to do anything. She's doing great,
Yeah.
And
It's never the kids. It's never the kids.
No, it's never the kids. And I was just laughing when you said that, like, most people now do find me and know what they want. And I offer to do a consult call beforehand to explain it. A lot of people sort of never get around to that. I don't have any questions, like on my website, nothing. It's like, and I don't have nothing is automated, which is good and bad. But people message me, I message them back. I don't have any, I should have. I think I'd probably book more clients, to be honest. Like if I had a official thing with my pictures and with, it's just one of those things. Like I don't even have a business card. I keep not having time, or telling myself I don't have time for that.
Well, it's probably not that you don't have time. It's that by the time you do have time, something else usurps that time.
Exactly.
And it's out of your brain too.
Yeah. And I also am very good at showing up to somebody's space and immediately putting them at ease. Like once they see me, and I'm just like a very short and laid back person with like a round face. So people are like, oh, hi, come on in, I'm not like dressed in black with like straps or anything. Like my cameras are wrapped in my daughter's like baby blankets and stuff. So it's all very, very, very casual. And then right away I can sort of explain, explain what the day is going to look like. But usually, and you can probably understand this, like when I sit down to tell the parents what's going on, the kid is automatically doing something interesting. So then I'm like, okay, well, wait, just 1 second. I'm just going to, and then it just sort of takes off from there.
It's like, I'm just going to be doing this. Okay. This is like what I'm going to
so this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. Yeah. But I did laugh when I said, well, most of them, because just my first session back this year actually was last Friday. And it was a couple who's an elopement. And I was doing my thing and the guy goes, I don't think we want those photos. We just want the classic photos. We just want classic. And I remember the bride was like, oh, we do? And I'm like,
oh.
And in my head, I'm like, I said it out loud. I was like, I'll give you the classics. Guess what? That's so much easier for me. But are you sure?
Like you still have time, honey. Run.
I know. Well, no, they had just eloped, so I don't think.
So this is after. She did not have time.
But I was like, oh, okay.
No.
Whatever you want, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's like part of the nature of weddings is that sort of thing is more likely to happen because I think because the stakes are higher and people are like, this is the only time I need this to be exactly and then you start like they're questioning their original decisions, like worrying about regret and what, and it's part of the reason, like more power to you, but weddings are.
Yeah, weddings are. I do weddings, but only documentary style.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That because then it should be like any other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except
it's like a lot. It's a lot. It's a big
wild
day.
Card. It is a big day. It is
Yeah.
a big day. Yeah. I swore off weddings a few years ago and was successful. But an old client.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah. And made more money when I stopped doing them, which seems
Whoa.
counterintuitive because all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like I was hyper focused on what I was better at. And then I made the mistake. It wasn't a mistake because it was great, but I took one for, I had done every other person's in her family wedding. And she is wonderful. So I did hers and it was documentary style. Everything she wanted was what I did. And I've never enjoyed a wedding like this. It was just, but I'm like, I have associates and they'll do weddings like in my style. And that's how I need to,
That's perfect.
that's how I need to stay on the straight and narrow. But, yeah, that's scary. But I guess that's probably the exception. You're not getting a lot of people who are like, actually, we want to stand here and stare at you.
Yeah. No, not anymore. Not
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
No, when you're too expensive for that, people are very careful about making sure that you are in alignment with what they want. And I think even $750 is too much to spend to hire the wrong photographer.
Yeah.
That's more like the couple $100 range problem. So what right now? I know your prices are going to change. This dog. Right now, what is your day in the life price compared to your hour-ish?
It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
It depends because travel expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're basically, so they get the full day in the life. I travel out there. So I cover the plane and the Uber and everything, but I do stay at their house, which is intentional, so I can like wake up with them and be in my pajamas with them. Like, again, just like, hey, I'm just a visitor. I'm just a friend visiting,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so currently, they got all the digital files and a photo book, from me. And those basically, it was like between 3,000 and 5,000.
Okay.
And so from that, you subtract all the
Expenses, all the travel expenses.
Yeah. So some days it's so random. It doesn't really seem to, plane fares are so random that
They are.
yeah, it's really,
Especially
it was hard to predict. And
yeah.
So honestly, I mean, that's good money. But again, I'm not doing that many of them anymore.
Right.
Yeah, especially since I'm going out to Washington State to do some in Seattle in May, and then out to
Nice.
Detroit to do some.
Cool.
Yeah, but again, traveling, it's really hard.
Yeah.
The expenses, I wasn't the most budget friendly. I would just sort of honestly, like, whatever made my life easier, be like, sure, let's stay at this hotel. It's easier. Let's do this, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was really eating into my profit margins. So I'm just trying to
Yes.
take everything a little more seriously now, and meticulous.
Yeah. And I think it's just like the natural, inevitable evolution of a business and a business owner it's so much course correction because so much of what's influencing it is extrinsic and out of your control. So like you're just kind of
Is it
adjusting
ever?
You're adjusting to your environment, you're adjusting to your market, you're adjusting to the economy, you're adjusting to your family's standard of living. And that's just why nothing about the business can stagnate. It has to like evolve and be flexible and kind of fit into that whatever mold it needs to be at the time.
Yeah. And let me just say that for people listening, if me can evolve and figure out pricing and figure out in-person sales, then you can. I think it took me longer than most. Yeah. And it was, I get so, I have like raging ADHD, which doesn't help,
Me too.
Yeah.
Raging.
So it'd be like, okay, I want to sell books now. It'd be like, there are 1,300, ways to print, different blah, blah, blah. So that's why I needed to find a mentor who would just tell me. I was like, don't give me options.
Yeah.
Just tell me 3 things and I'll choose between those 3 things. So, yeah.
Are you willing to share the name of your mentor?
Yeah. Her name is Renee. Well, I don't know her last name because I think Tracy, because her business is Lux House Photography, Luxe. Yeah.
Okay.
And she does like portraits and a lot more like kids in nature, or like staged like horses, and I don't know, she does all sorts of stuff.
Right.
And she only does, she only delivers tangible products.
Is there a new term that's not because you're in this program and I said IPS and that meant nothing to you. So are people calling it something different now?
No, she may have even said IPS. I don't know.
Well, I think like it just like well, I'm an all-inclusive photographer. And if you wanted to use a pejorative, you would call me a shoot and burn. So maybe IPS has turned into kind of a pejorative because there's always this like
Hmm.
tribalism that
Yeah.
people take on and like
Yeah,
it
which
becomes
is
their personality and it's like that. And the other one is the bad guy and I'm the good guy. And so it's like, so who knows if that's been ascribed some sort of bad context, that term. But I think that there is a market for every type of photographer and there's a market for every sales model and I think like so there's so much it's so important that whatever it is what works for you and what works for your family because in many ways it would be so much easier to work for somebody else and not have to do all this yourself. So
oh,
whatever sort
I
of business you
daydream about
build,
having a boss.
I daydream about a W-2. I would like
Oh, I know. Oh,
but I
yeah.
don't, but I do. So it's like, I think that if you're going to do this, it better be what feels right and organic for you. Otherwise, you're going to feel not good.
Mhm. And that was the natural cycle that this like the way I was doing it with everything. Not everything goes online, but
Right, right.
the digital delivery just felt like so unsatiating. And my photos, my heart and soul is layers and filling the frame. And so I love layers. I just work on them constantly. And layers need to be blown up and looked at and put on a wall and be big. Like you just don't understand what's going on when you look at the photo that's that
When
big.
you say layers, you're not talking about Photoshop layers.
No,
You're
I don't use
talking
Photoshop.
about
Yeah.
dimensional layers within a photo.
Yes.
Same. I've
love it.
become, I want to see multiple, and this is why I'm like on a tech note, I've become just enamored with my 51.2 because the 1.2 gives you so much more dimension than even 1.4 can. And it's just like, I don't want any other max aperture. I only want 1.2 at this point because yeah, same layers. And you have to like, yeah, it's not going to do anything for you in a little, now, what is
It's
it? Now it's a
completely
4x6
Yeah.
block on
Yeah.
Instagram, but it's like, yeah,
It's
a
completely
4x3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was sort of all naturally leading me to switch to the point of sales. But the thing is though, like sometimes I get hard on myself, like, because I had mentors telling me for years, the way you're making your images, the way your business is set up, not the way you're making your images, but the way your business is set up, you're leaving money on the table every time. And so it's easy for me to look back and be like, dang, I'd be in a much better financial position right now if I had done that. However, it is bold to sell just products. You need to,
It is.
and it's bold to go sit next to somebody and show them the images for the first time, and be able to guide them towards what format those pictures want to live in your house.
Yeah.
And I'm finally 9 or 10 years into family photography, but 20 years into photography, to the point where I'm like, I know that I can go to someone's house and within the parameters set there for me, the light and the moods of the kids and just whatever, the interior design, within those parameters, I can make the best possible images that can be made. And thus I will have the confidence to be selling them as products, and they're not cheap. They're not
Right.
supposed to be cheap,
No, that's not the
Yeah.
point.
So if I was making mediocre images and saying, okay, so which $250 print do you want to buy? And people are like, none.
Yeah.
that would have, that would have been rough. So
Well,
it's okay
yeah.
that it took me this long to get where I am because, because I
You got
believe
your
in my
reps in
photos now.
too.
Yeah.
You built such a robust portfolio at that price point. And I can't poo-poo 750 because it's a solid price point. If you don't have a like really hard overhead, then if that's like your best selling offer, then that's there is like, I would love for more photographers to get to that price point. But
Me too.
yeah,
All of them.
because I think that is a little bit more than the minimum that most people need to make per session to be profitable. I think when you do the math, but neither here nor there. It's what led you to where you are, and I do believe that what you're going into is a big mindset thing, and that you do need to have the callus that you've developed over 9 years to
Yes.
then make this transition successfully.
It's a way to make all the shift going on with people moving away from online spaces. I mean, people are even suspicious of yearbook photos now because
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Life Touch Epstein connection thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it is a way of using that momentum instead of just being like, well, forget it. I can't be an artist if I can't show my work anywhere.
Right.
Instead, like using that shift. So when I explain to clients, especially ones I've worked with in the past, like what led me to this, because it is not as simple as, well, I want to make more money. It's not that simple at all. I mean, I don't mind saying that I want to make a living wage.
Well, you just
know?
want to stay in business.
I want to stay in
You
business.
want to be able to do it.
I want to be able to
And
do
this
it.
is how I'm going to be able to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no shame in that. Oh, Melina, this has been like such an enlightening conversation. You're crazy inspiring. Do you offer any sort of education to other photographers who want to be you when they grow up?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope it was inspired. I hope the fact that I wouldn't say I have a natural business acumen. So I hope that inspires others who feel like, it's a whole other category of skills and of education and of time and of money to learn all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it didn't come naturally to me. So yeah, anyway, I hope that is the part that's inspiring.
Yeah.
But I do offer mentorships. I love teaching. I love mentoring. I feel like I'm high the rest of the day. Like I'm tingling with it. It's just, I love people. I love people so much. I love connecting with photographers, and I just love mentoring so much. It's usually people who have been photographers for a while and want to make the specific shift to documentary family photography.
Yeah.
But I'm also happy to mentor anyone who with it, whatever their genre is. To be honest, I can't really help with landscape photography because I don't do it and I don't do it well.
I think I would also draw the line there for myself. Speaking of aperture, that's in a territory that I never go. So I already know in that respect, I am not your person for landscape photography.
But anything else, I love it. And I work with people around the globe, like Tasmania and France. Like it's great. It's so fun.
So fun. Yeah. I have a mentee in Germany right now, and she lives near the Black Forest. And I'm just so jealous.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. I'm like, you live in Europe. Go take pictures of the street.
Yeah.
Like you got the architecture. We don't.
Go take a picture of your successful government and
you enjoy. I'm going to be over here at the mall with my family, wanted to go to Old Navy on their day.
Thank you so much. Okay, so people can find you on Instagram. It seems like you hang out there a lot, and on Instagram, your handle is
Melina Coogan Photo.
Melina Coogan, and we will link it in the show notes, and as well as your website and all of that other good stuff. Well, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. I'm inspired. I imagine everybody listening is too.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been so fun.
I agree. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
So until next time, keep shooting, keep creating, and keep building the business that supports your dreams. Have a fantastic week. And remember, in the business of photography, your creativity is your biggest asset.